Welcome. Another another live transmission or another recording. It's been a while. You so this is a Blueprint-Akash Update where I speak on where we're at in the story of our collective evolution as we stand on the brink of tumult and chaos. As surfing the event horizon of uncertainty that has been the year of 2020 carries us into what looks like another wave, another upcurve of the virus that was our introduction to the phenomena of this year. We are called once again to center ourselves, to come home to ourselves, to ground ourselves, and to recall the outward directed energy that has characterized certainly since the solstice solar eclipse of the summer. So we invite you now to take a moment to come into yourselves, hold your center, and set the intention to receive what's for you in this transmission, as well as an update. This is a transmission of activational alignment energies to support where we're at now and to bring through some of those gifts that can help us ride this beautiful, potentially beautiful wave. Which is coasting us towards the futures we have asked for help in co-creating. It was given that we could not, independently of our own free will, do what was phenomenally required of us in order to meet the agreements as a collective consciousness that we had made to ascend with Gaia, to remain embodied within Gaia during her ascension, and that this is also our ascension. Long ago, humanity was asked a question, and that question was, do you wish to remain with Gaia on the earth as a consciousness, as a human collective consciousness, while she ascends? The collective consciousness of humanity was asked, and we said yes. This was when the birthing of the possibility of a future beyond all the other many possibilities of our end and our destruction, when this birthing of possibility of humanity's continuation beyond our, shall you say, scheduled self-destruct date, when that future, that possibility emerged, we were asked, do we wish to manifest this future where instead of leaving the planet as a race, we continue? This year, the very same overlighting council who asked the question originally, this was in the 1980s, who asked the question originally, would you wish to remain here in Gaia while she ascends, returned to ask another question. And the question was, are you prepared to do what is necessary, what is required of you in order that you continue, fulfill your mission, your choice and your mission to remain in the planet while she ascends. Are you prepared to do what is required of you? And the answer given by the collective consciousness of humanity was yes, unanimously yes. However, there was an acknowledgement that it was not possible for humanity to independently and of its own free will, consciously of its own free will, do what was required to make the dramatic changes that would bring the outward manifestation of our actions, our creating, into alignment with our choice to ascend within the planet. And so, consider the implications. You have been called to give of yourselves more than was expected. This is because you are able to give of yourselves more than was expected. You have excelled at your own proclamations of evolution, of ascension, of upshifting in consciousness, regardless of any detrimental attempts, as you may perceive them, to slow you down. There has been a colossal upshift in awakening conscious awareness. It is beyond measure, and therefore your reward is greater responsibility to take greater ownership, to own your responses. All that befalls at this time is in support of humanity and humanity's emerging sovereignty. In the peace, in the silence, you're invited into a free fall within the self, a free fall into your divine remembrance. The source of your sovereignty. The source of all direction. direction for all action. Recall yourselves, if you will, in any given moment, to this invitation to freefall inside yourself. Allow all that you are attached to, reaching out for, towards, all you are invested in, all you are seeking to make happen, all you are forcing. Allow yourself to recognize these hidden, intelligently obscured impulses and recall them to this silence and stillness as you call yourself and your attention from the outer creation to your inner awareness. And in a moment, everything can change. When you do this, allow this, own this, everything in you can change. It is difficult at times like these, when great pressure is everywhere outwardly, intensity, tremendous calls on the attention, each one like a hook to pull one out of one's center. Feel this when it happens. Feel where the seat of attention shifts. Anything at all that calls the attention out of the center and into the activity of the outer creation is calling you into a story. This is not wrong. But in this story, there must be an ending. And the way to the ending is through transcension. And the way to transcension is through wrenching the gaze away from the outer to the inner responses that are taking place. Owning without judgment, attachment, or control, or manipulation, or any sense of make this response in me not be happening. Owning the responses that arise and surface, celebrating their arisal, allowing them to surface, and surrendering them as though they were no more than a breath leaving the body, returning to all that is. Each breath, a breath of life, a breath of renewal. Every response, every emotion, owned in this way, vibrates its way out of the system, vibrates its way out of the sphere of you, of us, of all of our fields, vibrates its way out of reality, taking with it something of the trauma, of the so that a little less of trauma is held in our systems, a little less of trauma is vibrating in how we are creating our shared reality, and a little less of trauma is held within the sphere of the earth as she renews, ascends, and heals. This is planetarily a great service for Gaia, for the planet, for the ecology and the future well-being of the planet. That is your perception at this time. To heal yourselves brings about the change that heals the planet. For it is not the planet that needs healing. Her rhythms are intact, are perfect, are divine. Your rhythms are intact, are perfect, are divine. What is in the way of the restoration of equilibrium, both in the rhythms of the planet and the rhythms of every consciousness that moves within her as a human being within the planet, is the violence of mind-directed action that is disconnected from its center, from its heart, from its greater awareness of its place in the dance. When you are called to stillness, 'tis so that you may return the seat of your attention to your centers, to your awareness, and break the link that runs the motors that run your bodies under the control of the disconnected mind, the angry mind, the fighting mind, the frightened mind, the frustrated mind. The fear, the anger, the frustration in the mind all arise because the mind has been held in a disconnected state, disconnected from the heart, from the body, from the gateways to greater awareness that are no longer the domain of monks atop mountains in remote lands, but accessible in the here and now to anyone and everybody for whom they are for. Accessible now as the human blueprint continues to shift and grow, to update itself, to evolve its capacity for supporting a human consciousness that can manifestly experience itself as a divine consciousness in a state of connection, connectivity within itself, with all other life, with all that is. It becomes more and more possible for more and more people to more and more directly access states of awareness that were once the domain of monks atop mountains in remote parts, far from cities, far from civilization. The gateways to awareness are open within civilization-dwelling humanity. And they are simple and becoming more so. It is not something about which to grow an identity, but a naturally evolving state change.